Good afternoon, family and friends. Thought I'd do another video, and in this video I'm gonna share my story, how I ended up in the villages, what brought me here. First off, I do want to say thank you to all the ones that's subscribed to my channel. Of course, I don't have a lot of followers. I just started this, but it is growing, so I appreciate that. I know that I'm new to this, so I don't have all the editing tools and all the neat graphics, and maybe I will one day, but currently I don't have any fancy camera. I'm just using my cell phone and recording things around the villages. So for you, those of you that have taken the time to hit that subscribe button and viewing my videos, I truly do appreciate it. I had two goals. One was just to be able to share my life down here with my family and friends because they're all still up north. And the second was just to share information about the villages. I know I watched tons of YouTube videos to learn as much as I could about the villages. So those were very helpful to me. So now I'm just trying to share that knowledge. So first off, I said I would answer any questions. So I did want to answer one quick question that I had from a viewer. I did respond to that viewer personally, but it was a really good question. So I figured I would just go ahead and share that question and answer it here. And the question is when you get rain, does the items in your lanai get wet? And the answer is yes, but I think it depends on how much rain you get, how hard the rain is, how long the rain is. We just recently, like the first week we were here, had a Hurricane Nicole, and she didn't do any damage to the villages, but she did bring some rain, and it was kind of almost like an all-day rain. So the items around the edge of my lanai did get wet. It's waterproof, so it really didn't matter. Shoot this around here. My patio furniture there, just around the edge there, it got a little wet. And then even my table, my patio table, the top of it got a little wet, but it's all waterproof, so it really didn't matter. Now we do have two televisions on here. They're on the walls. They did not get wet at all. So it's just the items that are close to your windows. But as long as you have waterproof cushions or a table, something that you don't really, it's not going to hurt to get wet, it's really not an issue. But if you had patio furniture where it getting wet would, it's not made for outdoors, it probably could ruin your cushions if they kept getting wet and didn't dry out. Many people do glass in their lanais so they don't have the screens. I don't think we'll do that because I really I feel like I'm really outside when I'm sitting in the lanai and it's all screened in. But I just wanted to answer that question. Yes, but I honestly think if you just had like a quick shower and it wasn't like an all-day rain, you probably wouldn't get hardly any water into your lanai at all. And we didn't get any standing water or anything like that, just a little wet around the edges. So I wanted to start out with this video just to kind of share my story of how I ended up in the villages. I would say right before COVID, it was probably sometime in 2020, it might have even been 2019, I accidentally came across a YouTube channel on the villages, and it really caught my attention, and I thought, wow, sounds like a really cool place. Maybe I'll move there when I retire. Of course, I was nowhere near retirement, and I had, a full-time job in the office. It was not remote, so I wasn't able, moving to the villages until retirement wasn't even an option for me. But I kept watching more and more YouTube videos, more YouTube channels, learning a lot more. And I was like, this seems like a really cool place. Let's just go down there for a vacation and check it out. So we actually scheduled an Airbnb, and you can rent Airbnbs in the villages. So if that's something you want to do, come for a vacation, you can always rent an Airbnb. So we rented an Airbnb. Of course, COVID hit and lockdown happened. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to go to the villages when the squares are shut down and, the restaurants and the stores are all shut down. So you can't really get out and experience it. So I canceled it. I waited probably 8 months later till the following spring, and I booked another Airbnb. And that time I came down to the villages, and I stayed in the northern part, up near Orange Blossom. Stayed there, didn't see any of the southern part of the villages, but I knew the villages did have 3 town squares. So we did visit each town square to see what each town square was like. We played some bocce ball and some pickleball and went to the pool and really had a good time. So that was the first time. The second time, we had friends that were doing a lifestyle visit, and I had vacation time, so we were like, you know what, let's just book another Airbnb and check out the villages again while they're doing their lifestyle. So we came down a second time, another Airbnb. This one was, I believe, the Fernandina neighborhood, which is, I think it's between Lake Sumter and Spanish Springs. So we kind of came down a little bit further south that time. And then there was 2 more times where we ended up having someone we knew that moved down here, and we did 2 visits where we came and visited them and stayed with them, and they were living in the Finney area. So that was the first time we really got to really see and check out the southern part of the villages. And then our 5th time is we decided we would book our own lifestyle visit. So we booked our own lifestyle visit, came down, did our lifestyle. But right before that happened, obviously when COVID hit, I have an office job, so we were all working from home. When the lockdown, they started loosening things up. It was, close to a year and a half later, they began bringing us back into the office, but they said it was going to be a hybrid situation. I know a lot of offices have gone to that. Part-time in the office, part-time at home. So that was the route they were going to do. And at the time, even in a hybrid situation, my company didn't like employees to move out of state and not be able to come into the office at all. So at that point, it still wasn't an option for me to leave the state. But not long after they brought us back, they decided to make my department, which is IT, 100% fully remote. So I had checked with management, and I'm like, well, does that mean that I can move out of state and still keep my job? Because I've been with my company for like 23 years, so it's been a long time. And they said, yes, you can do that. So I was really excited, and I got, my husband, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we can move right now. I think that was I think at the time I was 54 or 55. And my husband loves the villages. He really liked it, but he wasn't really on board at the time of moving right now. So he's like, yeah, we got plenty of time. Let's not do it now. Let's wait. So I'm like, well, how about 2023? He's like, yeah, I think I'll be okay with 2023. So then the interest rates, we heard, was going to start climbing upwards. And the market, the housing market at the time, right before that happened, was crazy, crazy. I mean, people were selling their homes and making a pretty big profit over what they bought their homes for. So I talked to my husband again, and I'm like, you know what? If we're going to do this, we need to do this now. I said, because interest rates are going up, it's going to slow the housing market. Let's just do it now. And I said, we can move in with my daughter for a few months and really take our time waiting to buy in the villages. So he's like, all right. So we did. We sold our house, showed it one weekend. It sold right away. We moved in with my daughter for 4 months. And to back up a little bit, what was really interesting, we actually ended up right where we wanted to be. And when we first visited the villages, we would run by this big land that they were just clearing out. And it would happen as soon as you came out of the Brownwood Paddock Square, the very first land that they were clearing out. And I said to my husband, that would be a really cool area to live in. That's where I would like to live. As time went on and things progressed, and anybody in the villages can tell you, things move really quickly in the villages. So I found out that that neighborhood was going to be named Richmond, and what was going to be going into the neighborhood, and I was really excited, and the timing was absolutely perfect. So they started selling homes when we were probably 3 months into living with my daughter. So once they opened up and started selling the homes in Richmond, we were wanting a veranda home. So we were extremely fortunate because we were able to get the home that we wanted on the very first try. That can be another video, but just really quickly, buying a new construction home in the villages is not an easy task. Houses they go really quickly. Sometimes you have multiple people bidding on the same home. And I do know that in this area, the Richmond North verandas, there were people that weren't even able to get a veranda home. So we know that we were extremely fortunate to get a home in this area and to get a veranda home in the area that we wanted. So that's kind of how we ended up here. 3 months into it, Richmond opened up to buy their homes, and we bought a home, and we moved here. The hardest part for me so far has been just leaving my family and friends. We had a lot of really, really close friends that we did a lot of fun things with. We hung out together all the time. And I'm very close to my family. I have, 3 grown children. I have 5 grandchildren and 1 on the way. But I figure, you know what? I can go home a couple times a year. I'm planning on going home and staying a whole month in the summer. Because I am able to work remote, I can go home, take my laptop, and I'm still able to work while I'm at home. So that's my plan, is to go home a month in the summer, probably over the end of the year, over the holidays. Of course, my kids, grandkids, they can come here and visit me, during spring break or maybe early summer when school's first out. So it'll be really fun for them, I think. I know that we'll make friends. I'm sure we will. We've started to join some clubs. Haven't attended any of those clubs yet, but I think once we start attending those clubs, we'll start meeting some new people. I've still got like 8.5 years before retirement, so I'm going to be working for quite a while yet. One of the groups that I joined was the women's working group, so it's for women that are still working. So I figured that would be a good fit. And another club that we had signed up for was South of 60, which was people under the age of 60. So I thought, that'll be fun. And they do all different kinds of activities. So I think we're really going to be able to meet some people that way. We did actually meet a couple couples on the golf course, because when there's just two of you to sign up to golf, they will match you up with another couple. Both couples were very nice. But the second couple that we golfed with were Canadians, and they don't actually live in the Villages, but they come down a month in April and a month in November and rent. So it was nice getting to know them. Well, then the very next night, we went to Lake Sumter to the square, and we bumped into them. So that was pretty cool. We sat together at the square and, chit-chatted with them and exchanged numbers. So that was pretty cool. So I know we will meet more people. It's just going to take a little bit of time. So anyway, I just wanted to share that is my story, is I really just came across a YouTube video on the Villages and started watching YouTube videos. It sounded like a really cool place. Visited 5 times, loved it every time, and decided, you know what, life's short. Why wait to retirement if you can do it now? You're never guaranteed tomorrow. Nobody knows what's going to happen. I have my health now. I can enjoy the lifestyle. I mean, yes, I am still working, but I still have the evenings. I still have the weekends. I still have vacations. And being able to connect with other people that are also working from home, or even just working, that live in the Villages, I think is going to be helpful also. So that's my story. One video that I'm going to do coming up in the future that I've never seen anybody do a video on this, so I thought I'd really like to do one. But there are several YouTubers in the Villages. There's more and more every day. And I have subscribed to some of them, not all of them, but some of them that I really like, I really think have good information. I really enjoy watching their videos. I've following. So my next video that I share with you, I'm going to do a video on YouTubers that live in the Villages and have channels that I really think are beneficial to watch and get information from. So that's going to be my next video, is I'm going to share my favorite YouTubers in the Villages. So stay tuned for that. Again, thanks for subscribing. I really thought most of my subscribers were going to be my family and friends, but I'm finding I don't have very many family and friends actually subscribing. They're watching my videos, but they're not really hitting that subscribe button. But the majority of people that are subscribing are just strangers that I don't know. So I truly appreciate it, especially since I'm not a professional. I don't have the fancy graphics and camera. So for you to stay tuned and watch my videos, I really, really appreciate that. And maybe one day down the road, if I start getting a lot of subscribers, I might invest in a good camera, and I might invest in some good software, editing software. So hopefully, maybe in the future. So once again, everyone, thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.